America is about to learn how good we actually used to have it.
Definitely go watch her video, but I also want to show you what happened at the grocery store today. So I shop at Kroger, and look at these. Onions are so old that they're already growing greenery out of them, which is great if you're going to start a garden. I actually almost considered buying them, but look at these empty shelves already. There's already empty shelves. This is Monday afternoon. It's already been stocked. Shipments usually come in on Mondays. This Kroger has been serving up rotten potatoes for months now. And I don't even know why, but the potatoes in their selection is just always crap. So I went over, you can see the avocado section is already getting low. There's large swaths of the areas in the vegetables, plus rotten turmeric, which is not going to be restocked. And there's a label saying it's not going to be. So I'm not trying to panic anybody, of course, but if you want to get ahead of this, start seeding your own fruits and vegetables if you can. Freeze things and make sure you're good and well stocked on canned vegetables that will last for 6 months to a year. Also, rice is a good staple, especially brown rice. A thing of lentils with some brown rice and some frozen vegetables and or canned vegetables is a great meal. You know, whip up your favorite sauce or whatever and serve with it. I've been also stocking up on chicken stock because that pretty much flavors stuff, keeps the salt up in your body, especially if you have POTS like I do. And spices are something that really add a lot of flavor. In every meal that I cook every single day, I add paprika, garlic granules with parsley, and I use smokehouse maple. I love smokehouse maple. But you can spruce up very plain meals very easily. Also, of course, canned tuna and canned chicken. But I think Swanson is based in America. I would have to look that up. But I think we'll be safe on some things. Other things not so safe on, like the Asian markets are probably going to be sold out of a lot of stuff too. I don't even know. This is just, I'm so tired of this. Why is this man in office? He's been destroying people's lives 10 years, almost 10 years now.
America is about to learn how good we actually used to have it. The ports are empty. Food isn't coming in. Goods are not coming in. Everyone who works in the shipping industry is saying we are about to face a crisis much bigger than the empty shelves during COVID. We have felt entitled in this country to freedom, to democracy, to human rights, to unlimited food and crap to buy. We got lazy and we did nothing to maintain those freedoms and those rights. We assumed that other people would do it. We stopped valuing our own education. We stopped reading. We stopped being kind to other people. We got completely hell-bent on having more stuff, on having more money, on having more whatever, having more fucking Botox in our faces. It's a false ladder that we were taught to climb. And I don't know if this current iteration of Americans has it in them to survive the Great Depression Part 2, but I don't know if we're going to have a choice, babe.
So listen, if y'all think it's a game, when that top shelf, see that top shelf? When that top shelf starts to be bare, that's how you know they don't have a lot of overhead. Okay? So, don't be reactive, be proactive. Just come pick you up a couple of things because this Walmart is not bad. And that top shelf look a fool on this aisle, but the other aisles don't look that bad. But there is a shortage. They're not gonna tell you, but it is. And I'm gonna show you. Don't let these people tell you that it's just a game. That top shelf tells it all. Okay? So give it a week. And when you go in the store, look at the top shelf. If it's empty, okay. Go pick you up a couple of non-perishable items. You know, just some rice, some noodles, you know, a couple of canned goods. Just to be on the safe side. It's better to be prepared than not prepared, okay? Cool.
The shortages are coming. So far, Trump's tariffs have been a story about the markets, but the real world effects, they're about to arrive and they could be deadly. With container bookings down over 60%, according to the Flexport CEO. Right, and with that, he said that if the tariffs aren't lifted, we'll see a $2 trillion hit to economic activity, the failure of tens of thousands of American businesses, and the laying off of millions of employees. And this is the Port of LA is seeing a rapid decrease in activity. Next week, they'll see 10% less ships than last year at this time, and then the week of May 4th, 35% less ships. Also, trucking out of the port's already down 23%, and some analysts expect it to fall by 50%. And it's believed that the longer that Trump keeps the tariffs in place, the worse this is going to be because the tariffs on China are so high that they've been called an effective embargo. And so if nothing changes, starting around May 10th, a lot of US ports will likely become pretty quiet and shortages will begin. Because that is when the ships that would have otherwise left China on April 10th would have arrived in LA. Right, in normal times, it takes 3 weeks for ships to go from China to LA and 40 to New York by sea. So in late May, New York will receive the last pre-Liberation Day shipment, and then their ports will fall quiet for at least 40 days, at least from China. And you know, every day these tariffs stay in place, the longer it takes to fix the shortages. And in fact, you have some analysts saying that even if Trump lifts the tariffs tomorrow, you're still going to have shortages, and it could also create a bullwhip effect where the tariffs get lifted and there aren't enough ships to meet demand. But then also, you know, a surge of all these ships, it could cause the ports to get clogged up too, resulting in even less ships doing shipping, and this causing shortages and shortages raising prices. So in short, I guess in a way, it could look a lot like 2020, which, hey, same president too. But for now, follow to stay in the loop.
Okay, so advice, like I said in the previous video, is buy items that you can, like rice, beans. People were saying don't get things that you can freeze. Okay, that's one of the main comments I've been paying attention to. They're like, try to stay away from freezing just in case something else happened with electricity or however that may be concerned, right? It's a lot. Oh my God. So try to get canned items and dried items. It's pretty much what I took from it. They told me in the comments, or everybody, to get a dehydrator. And that's pretty much what I saw, right? Dehydrator. Oh, and garden. And I have a half an acre. So I have the space, but I don't know how to. I got to go and read and figure this thing out, okay? But Costco is where everybody's saying they're about to go. Costco, right? Buy in bulk, stock, make an area, make a list of all the things that you commonly buy when you go to the store. Get that plus other things, okay? But this is gonna be a journey that we all about to go on together, and get y'all house together. Love y'all.
Chocolate.
That's the owner of Jensen's, Adam Zach. We walked through the aisles to find foods made in other countries.
Made in Switzerland.
Less perishable items people could buy now and save for later to avoid spending more when President Trump's tariffs go into effect.
And this is when you could stockpile this for 6 months. As long as you keep it sealed. The hard cheeses are the ones that you could save.
According to MarketWatch, more than 40% of Americans are stockpiling groceries in anticipation of price increases. Sales spiked on non-perishables like canned vegetables, instant coffee, and ketchup right after Trump's largest tariff announcement on April 2nd.
I'm anticipating increases.
Shopper Carol Arnett saves on perishables by buying in bulk and then vacuum sealing them to last.
I vacuum pack and freeze half of those, and then we have nice fresh stuff throughout the month.
Zach recommends stocking up if you're particular about buying certain foreign goods. Things like wine, olive oil, chocolate, coffee, or cheese could store well.
Especially if you have a favorite chocolate, say, this is the only one I like, you would want to stock up on that, say it's from Belgium or France or somewhere.
But overall, Zach says you'll probably only save a couple dollars. He believes prices on non-perishable items won't fluctuate much, even when tariffs go into effect.
You might see something that maybe it's costs $4 now, maybe it goes to $4.50. I don't think it'll be huge.
He says the best idea is to get flexible with your grocery choices, shopping for locally sourced brands that might not be impacted. Perla Shaheen, ABC 10 News.
Okay, so you guys know I'm a gig worker, right? And I've been warning you for the last couple of weeks that I had been seeing something. When they tell you there's going to be a shortage, there's going to be a shortage. See behind me? See the top of this shelf? Normally, and I'm in the canned foods aisle, normally this shelf is topped off with overstock. It's all gone. So, yeah, is there a shortage coming? There's a shortage coming. I'm also noticing and I'm in Walmart, I'm shopping an order for a customer. I will also tell you what is becoming very light is the dry pasta. There's been holes in that for the last week. So y'all need to stock up. Now is the time to do it. I definitely would be doing that because this is a sign that the holes on the supermarket shelf are going to be getting even more.
So I just watched the video from a guy that was breaking down the components of like how we're about to hit empty shelves in a little while. And so reading the comments and just things that y'all know I love to come on here and just give what I see. So basically people are saying go ahead and start stocking up on food, right? Now don't go in there and go all crazy really nilly because we don't know what to come, but stock up on like canned goods and things that you know that can last a little longer. Beans, like dried beans and things like that. As well as somebody also said to go ahead and start buying your kids Christmas gifts now because probably around that time, because what's going on, there may not be anything for them to buy. So I felt like that was something good to see. Also, this is coming from me. I feel like we need to start going back to meals that didn't cost a lot of things. I don't know. So like, we already still eat spaghetti, but things that can stretch, last a little longer than, you know, normal. Certain stuff like that, eating our sandwiches, peanut butter jelly sandwiches, noodles, all that stuff. Like we got to go back to those dynamics. Still cooking a big meal, but probably not every day. I don't know. I'm not scared per se, but I just feel like we need to start planning just in case. It's coming. They're talking about it's coming. It's going to happen. Also, we know that certain people can stop this, but they're not. So get your houses together, y'all. Buy dried items, food that you can that can last in the pantry without having to worry about having to be thrown away. And one thing I've been doing from things been growing up in a household with my grandmother and of course my mother and aunties, but if you cook something and you have a lot left or anything left, freeze it. Okay? Freeze it. Freeze it is the best thing that I can say. That has been helping me when it comes to meals, like anything that I cook and they don't eat it. My kids don't eat it all. My friends don't eat it all. I freeze it. Okay? And if I need it or if I'm going to add to a meal, I can do so later. But drop in the comments some meals that people can cook that may last longer, right? That you also can freeze, but you don't have to worry about it. Can stretch and feed a whole household without having to spend a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? Love you. Bye.
There's a very real threat of food shortages. If you've been eating from your freezer and pantry for by 2025, listen, it's time to restock. We're staring down rising food prices with tariffs, ag workers being deported. Hearing this message from a prepper might not mean much to you, but I'm not the only one saying it. I only started prepping because of this. What got me started was these exact threats, this administration. So please just hear me out. If your shelves are getting low, don't get caught off guard. Your by 2025 eating from the pantry and freezer, it wasn't for nothing. You can use what you learned during your no-buy experience. Like, what did you actually rely on? What held up? What did you run out of too fast? You actually have a major advantage over other people who are going to be stocking up around the same time, even though you might have to buy more than them, because now you know exactly what you need to stock up on. But don't wait. This week and probably next is your window to restock. Prices are still manageable. Shelves are still full. This isn't panicking. This is planning. If you're not exactly sure where to start, I have a couple of videos on my page, especially check out the one about bulking your pantry. Time's short, but you're not too late, so don't put it off any longer. It's time to restock the shelves in the freezer.
You can't make this up.
This, we are also reporting today that a group of CEOs of the top American retailers, Walmart, Target, Home Depot, and Lowe's, had a private meeting with Trump on Monday. They had plenty to say, but there was one warning that stuck out. Empty shelves, they said. Empty shelves in American stores as soon as this summer because of Trump's actions.
It is that meeting in the Oval Office on Monday that we learned about, and other reporters did as well, that really apparently caught the president's attention. And I am told that business leaders, the Business Roundtable and others have been reaching out to White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles and other advisors here, trying to get a meeting with the president, trying to convey to him in real terms the real fallout of some of this uncertainty, some of these tariff policies. And it was that empty shelves comment, we are told, that really caught the president's attention. Of course, you can see why. The whole idea that we would have interruption in the supply chain, sort of like we all saw in the pandemic, simply because of his policies, is something that would be difficult for the White House to endure. So that is one of the reasons we are told that he changed his posture. It's interesting.
So what Donald Trump has done is just given every single one of his supporters a crash course lesson in what tariffs are and how they actually impact them. The Democrats were right. We were telling you all this was a bad economic policy for Donald Trump to do. And it literally took the CEOs of those companies to meet with him and look him dead in his eyes and say, "Sir, if you keep this up, there will be empty shelves." And that thought made him realize that all of his lies were finally going to be revealed to the American people. Could you imagine him telling everyday Americans that egg prices have came down 93, 94% while the shelves are empty?
The Port of Los Angeles is the busiest in the Western Hemisphere, but now it's preparing for a dramatic slowdown, according to Executive Director Gene Soroka.
What do you anticipate happening over the next couple of weeks?
In 2 weeks' time, Carter, we'll see a drop on our import side of the business by about a third. And it could be as much as 40% the week to follow. Most American importers are saying that they're stopping shipments out of China because they simply weren't going to pay 2.5 times the cost of the goods.
With a 145% tariff, a container of Chinese goods worth $100,000 will now cost importers an extra $145,000.
With information coming out of Washington seemingly by the hour, it's tough to get a line of sight on what's next. Inventory on hand right now in the United States will last for about 6 to 8 weeks. After that, shelves will be bare. We won't be able to buy as much online.
All of these games come from China.
At the Game Chest, owner Mariam Ahamami has been stockpiling toys and games that arrived before the tariffs.
So I'm buying what I think I'll sell between now and September.
You sound like a hoarder.
I feel like a hoarder. If you've seen my stores, you would see the hoarding in the back rooms.
80% of her merchandise comes from China, and board games are her biggest sellers.
Seems like you should be able to make a board game in the U.S.
It's true. It does look easy, but it's filled with lots and lots of different parts and pieces. And there's just not enough manufacturing here to be able to do that successfully.
At this point, even if the tariffs are reduced significantly,
It'll still take about 10 days to 2 weeks to get these ships back in line over in China. Then it's a 2-week trip here to LA. So we're starting to cut it pretty close with respect to inventory in the U.S.
So we might see some empty shelves even if the tariffs are brought down in the next couple of weeks.
We're running out of time on that. And if we have fewer items to select from, that's going to put a pinch on the American buyer.